The war in Sudan has raged for more than 14 months between the Sudanese armed forces helmed by Army Chief Abdel Fattah Al-Burhan and the powerful paramilitary rapid support forces spearheaded by Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo. Fasher, the provincial capital of North Darfur, is the only state capital of the 5 Darfur states, not under RSF control. Previously a key humanitarian hub, Fasher has emerged as the fiercest battleground recently. The United Nations Security Council on 13th of June called for an immediate halt to the fighting and siege of Fasher by RSF. A few days later, on 18th of June, Sudan accused the United Arab Emirates of fomenting conflict in the country, a charge flatly denied by the Gulf state. UAE as well as Iran have been accused of violating a UN arms embargo by supplying drones to the warring sides in the 14-month civil war which has devastated Sudan. Our next report gives you more details.
Africa's third largest country by size, the Republic of Sudan, has been ravaged by war for 14 months. Long simmering tensions between the Sudanese armed forces and the paramilitary RSF erupted into an all-out war on the 15th of April last year. The trigger was the planned integration of the paramilitary RSF into the regular army, an internationally backed political transition plan. The rivals RSF and the Sudanese military have been battling over control of the country for 14 months. More than 14,000 people have been killed, 33,000 wounded, and 10 million people have been displaced since then. A new front has opened up around the city of Fasher in North Darfur, where, compounding the matters, the population is already on the brink of starvation. Fasher is the last army stronghold in the western Sudan's Darfur region, which was, until recently, relatively unaffected by the fighting. But since mid-April, bombardments and clashes have been reported in the surrounding villages. The city, under siege by the RSF fighters, has witnessed intense fighting between government and paramilitary forces, provoking a humanitarian crisis. On 13th June, the United Nations Security Council adopted a resolution prepared by Britain and which received 14 votes in favor, with Russia abstaining, demanding that the RSF halt the siege of Fasher.
The adoption of this resolution sends a clear message. The Council demands that the Rapid Support Forces immediately stop the siege of Fasher and that all sides step back from the brink. An attack on the city would be catastrophic for the 1.5 million people sheltering in the city. We tabled this resolution to help secure a localised ceasefire around Fasher and create the wider conditions to support de-escalation across the country and ultimately save lives.
The city of 1.5 million people gained notoriety about 2 decades ago, when Arab militias, who later formed the RSF, killed up to 300,000 members of black ethnic groups. On 18th June, at a UN Security Council meeting, the Sudanese ambassador to the UN lashed out at the United Arab Emirates, accusing it of sponsoring terrorism by arming RSF.
Whoever wants to create peace in Sudan must first come with pure intentions. And the United Arab Emirates is the state that is sponsoring terrorism. That is a racist kind of terrorism. And this has been proven by the report issued by your own council.
Furthermore, the Sudanese envoy claimed that Khartoum has evidence of the weapon supply and that the Sudanese government will submit a file on UAE actions to the International Criminal Court. The UAE ambassador, in response, labelled Sudan's charge as ludicrous and designed to deviate from grave violations that are happening on the ground.
We see this as a shameful abuse by one of the warring parties of Sudan of this council, using this platform to spread false allegations against the UAE, to distract from the grave violations that are happening on the ground. There will be no military victory or a military settlement of the conflict in Sudan. The only way to settle will be through the negotiating table.
Is Abu Dhabi's financial and military support for the RSF the main reason behind the protracted Sudan war? A UN report published in January had accused several countries of arming the RSF, including the UAE. For peace to prevail in Sudan, arms embargo on Sudan must be respected. External interference must immediately stop, and two warring generals must come to the negotiating table. Till that happens, the fear is that one of the worst humanitarian nightmares in recent history will keep worsening with each passing day.